for a read.
Yeah, guys, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it's super quick and easy, and it's the best way to add a little bit more energy to my Sundays while I go 0-3 in fantasy. So, I got to ask, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS to place your first $5 bet.
All right, Anthony, good job out of you. So, guys, things could not be in much worse shape on the offensive line right now. Dawand Jones was the one hope we had for the future of the position, and now it seems like you have none. Dawand Jones out for the year, season-ending right knee surgery, torn ACL. Looked like a dirty hit, but you know.
He said it's not an ACL.
Sorry. Mary Kay. We'll have Mary Kay on later. We'll have Aditi on later. It's not an ACL. But he's having some sort of knee surgery. He's out for the year. You know, in the short term, obviously, you got these, KT Tunstall and whatever his name is, the guy who's been playing tackle. They don't really have any. They signed Tevin Jenkins. The guy was like a decent player, and now he doesn't play. I don't understand what's going on there. But anyway, Dawand Jones, who was the one guy you thought maybe you could rely on in the future, I don't think you can count on him at all. He's barely been able to stay on the field. I don't think you have a single set position on the offensive line for next year. So short term it's an issue, but long term it's a bigger issue.
Well,
go ahead.
It is. But I would say this much. I mean, the guys that we recognize their names, they're all getting old.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to revamp the entire offensive line. We talked about this morning, Tyvis and I, on his radio show about what they're going to do. I mean, the Browns have to draft a quarterback, and they also have to draft a left tackle very high in this draft. They have to find themselves an answer at that position, and then they're going to have to take probably 2 other linemen in the draft too. At least.
Yeah.
At least.
And go into the veterans too. I mean, listen, that's funny. 2 of those 5 guys were Browns, of course, including Jed Wills. I don't see much point going into free agency right now. Do you, G. Bush? I mean,
you're not getting no tackles.
Yeah.
Free agency. Right.
I'm bringing Jed Wills back.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, what's the unless you're in a position where you just can't protect your quarterback at all? I mean, what's the point of doing that now?
Right. If you thought those guys were better than who you had,
they'd already be here.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then in terms of you're not going to make a trade now for a tackle. We need the assets.
That's right.
Yeah, this is what I talk about a lot now that we've kind of gotten over. Well, not got over, but usually when you talk about a win, they get a win, and a probable win against a really good football team and the Packers, and you're kind of in the moment. You just want to celebrate and get that dub, but you start to unpack some of the other things that come away from it. You get to the Dawand Jones situation, and when you talk about Dawand Jones, yeah, he's pumped.
Yeah.
He's excited.
Yeah.
When you get to Dawand Jones, this just goes to me from a bigger overarching picture, not just this year, but the major theme going for next year. I've always had a problem with this. Seems like the Browns are going to be gung-ho. They're going to draft a quarterback next year, or whatever the case may be. But you take a look at a couple of draft picks. Yes, we love what they did in this draft, but when you have a 3rd round and a 5th round pick in quarterbacks, you could have used those positions to bolster your offensive line. How great would it have been?
Potentially, yeah.
How great would it have been to have a 3rd round offensive lineman that you identified and could slide in there?
Right.
So those are in those specific positions, and then you have to also think about it.
Right.
You have a situation where not only you want those positions, but now when you go into next year, I think a lot of times people will kind of fast forward and just say, oh, yeah, we're going to just package this with this, with this, with this, and get this. Yes, this sounds good. You're going to package that to get a quarterback. But now you're packaging that to get a quarterback, and you've lost all of your first rotation of offensive linemen.
Right.
And so how many picks do you have? And if, say, for instance, the Browns with this great defense are able to win more games than you thought, you're not in contention to have the 1st overall pick potentially or something like that. So now you're going to have to use something from the next year after that. Now, and on top of that,
right,
you still need receivers. You still need playmakers. So I think that's one of the things we always talk about. Even if you do have quarterbacks, yes, you have quarterbacks, but the first thing we say is who's protecting them and who you're throwing the ball to. And you need assets to do that. So the hope was Dawand Jones was the left tackle. The hope was, hey, maybe you find a quarterback 3rd, 5th round here with either Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel, and then you could use some of those picks in further years to bolster your offensive line. But it's a big loss. And generally speaking, I think it's going to be difficult to kind of make that up this year. Tyvis.
You know what makes it would make all this better? And we developed the some of the linemen that we drafted.
Yeah.
You know, that would be a great way to get ourselves out of this hole. You know, the Luke Whipplers, the Zach Zenters, who for the 3rd game in a row was a healthy scratch. Got to figure that out.
And let's face it, Dawand Jones was not playing well either.
No, he was not. So, you know, they moved him back to right tackle to try to fix what was going on because at left tackle things was just not looking well. So they put him back at right tackle, which he played at Ohio State, which he did at a high level. Even when he stepped in for the injured Jack Conklin, his first game I want to say was against TJ Watt, and he looked good at right tackle. He's comfortable at right tackle. Obviously, with his size, you would want him to be the premier left tackle, but right tackle was where he was at. It was unfortunate that he went down. It put you in a situation where now, you probably do have to look at this draft and realize we got to go quarterback or tackle, depending on how these quarterbacks shaking out, because everybody's talking about beginning of the season. This is the year for the quarterbacks. Oh, there's so many quarterbacks.
It's early. It's still
and as
early.
we continue to go through this season, you start seeing people get crossed off the list more and more. So, you know, the left tackle position is something that's at a premium. Obviously, if they do get a pick in the top 5, maybe they have to look at that and maybe they can hit on the quarterback. Or maybe the quarterback is on his roster. We still haven't seen the 2 young guys. So therefore, there is hope to be had there with Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders.
Right.
But we'll see.
But from a long-term perspective, we know for this year, obviously, they're a mess at tackle. But I don't think I've ever seen anything like this that I can recall. The Browns literally have, at this moment, not a single sure starter on the offensive line next year.
Yes, they do.
Who?
Luke Whippler. Go Bucks.
He's a sure starter?
You see this guy, dude. Come on.
Tyvis, what
I'm
drugs do you want?
I'm willing to bet my life on it.
But he's not a sure
You bet
thing
your
to
life
be a
on
starter.
nothing, first off.
Willing to
Second,
bet my
I'm
life.
betting on
Dustin.
Luke
I'm willing
Whippler.
to bet my
There you
life
go.
that Luke Whippler is on the start
Reel him
line
back
next year.
in.
I'm trying.
He was a 6th-round pick who hasn't played.
He's a beast.
Then why doesn't he ever play?
Because Ethan Pochik is
No, he does.
Ethan Pochik wasn't even that good.
He plays. He goes out for routes.
Ethan Pochik was darn near a Pro Bowler his first year with the
Right.
in the organization.
But he-
that was what, 2 years ago?
But he didn't play well last year, and he hasn't been that good this year so far.
Luke, every time somebody
And
goes
he's a
down,
free agent.
Luke goes in and does well.
Okay, and then Zach Zinter so far is a disaster.
He thinks Will Howard's going to lead this.
No, I never. That's Jay Crawford. That feels
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way,
yeah.
not me.
Oh, he's the one Buckeye you don't like?
Who?
Will Howard.
No, I think Will will be fine. I just don't. Jay thinks that he's
Okay.
the next big thing. I'm
he's
not
not.
willing to go down that road.
He's the next nothing.
Dang.
No offense.
That's pretty
is-
offensive.
It is.
So let me ask you this question because it's how I look at it is like this, man. I'm into planning and strategy. If you don't have nobody under contract for the offensive line,
Yes, you do.
well, you got some people. They're not
Nobody
guaranteed.
that started.
Nobody that started.
Okay,
has
that's
playing
fair.
experience.
Fair.
There's no starting experience coming back.
Except for Dawand, who's
Yeah.
been injured almost all the time.
So we don't know when he's coming back.
And,
So
the other
Is he
guy,
out for the year, guys?
what's The,
Yes.
the guy they just traded for, the dude that's playing.
Cornelius Lucas?
No.
Kevin, KT Tunstall?
That dude.
I think that's a singer, KT Tunstall.
That dude.
It is a singer.
I think I'm changing his name.
You got him too. I'm
when
pretty
you
sure.
said that,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you said the
I'm
singer's
pretty
name.
sure he's under contract.
Hey, only Tunsil I know is Laramie.
By the way,
Only
Dawand
Tulsa we
lost all this weight.
acknowledges Laramie.
Being hurt's not necessarily the best thing
No,
for him right
it's
now.
not.
Like, I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
when you go through a big change like
That's
that,
true.
you guys are
Yeah.
big men.
Yeah.
So like, if you've ever lost weight, think about when you tore your Achilles.
Right.
It's easy to eat
yeah.
the ice cream.
Bro,
Yes.
you not.
I hope it doesn't happen for him. I hope
Right,
it comes
right.
back great. But I mean, I'm a little concerned about
Yeah.
that.
If you, so you and we. Now I always tease Jason Lloyd. Jason Lloyd sold us on a mini reboot.
Yeah.
The 2-year cleanse, he calls it. I'm like, boy, you good, man. That 2-year cleanse you had, that was crazy. This, if you don't have any linemen and you draft a rookie, that 2 has turned into 4.
Well, I think it could. You're right. But listen, we've all seen good quarterbacks at times make up for problems on the offensive line. But you can't make up for-
Joseph Lee Burrow.
Right, but that's
not Joe Burrow didn't even make up a 5.
Yes,
At least he had some people under contract.
They
Right,
they was horrendous.
I mean, but we like
Shout out my
Well, not
boy.
all of them,
Shout
but-
out my boy Isaiah Prince that played on that line.
so Tyvus. All
Bucks.
jokes aside, you saying
That's not the point.
This
He's
offensive
there.
line group is nice. You saying that there's any sort of you have to have zero confidence in this offense group.
So what you talking about? The one that's
the one
next year?
Yes.
So this is my thing. Let me see that. So this is my thing, man. Yeah. I'm gonna throw this little. I'm gonna play devil's advocate with you.
Okay.
Y'all catch my drift. So I think that you have bodies, right? You got people that you
Bodies.
You got bodies. You invested draft picks in some. You got 3 players that you invested draft picks in.
Yeah.
You know, Luke 6, Zach Zinter 3rd, and the 7th round kid from the Rams, right? So you got 3 players that potentially. Now what I'm saying is right now would be the perfect opportunity for you to develop those guys, knowing that you have to depend on them in the future.
Right.
Now, to me, this all falls solely on coaching because, you know, if you you decided to if you drafted these guys in these positions that you drafted them, and Luke Whippler should have been a higher draft pick. The reason he failed is because of the inexperience that he had. You know, he kind of left a year early. He probably should have stayed his 4th year. He probably would have been one of the top centers. But that's neither here nor there. He's in the league now. We're talking about the now and the present. I tell you what. If Bill Callahan was still here, I bet you we wouldn't be having these conversations. So if a guy's gonna leave your organization, you best to do your best job to replace that guy or get somebody better. So far, we have failed miserably these last 2 years. But you know what? Brian Callahan, things might not be looking good there, so Bill might be available at the end of the year. So you might get him back. But
That's true, because Brian Callahan.
We need to develop our offensive line. And that starts with coaching.
To me, guys, my game plan for this offseason, and let's assume that Joel Bitonio does retire.
No, he 100% is.
He's going to retire, right?
Isn't he like not under contract after this season?
Yes, that is
he's
the case.
done.
So here's my thought on what I would do this offseason. This would be my game plan as of now. I would re-sign Wyatt Teller. He's your best offensive lineman. He's not elite anymore, but at least I'd have one steady guy, right? He's still good.
One.
I would re-sign him.
How old is Wyatt? 33?
30.
30.
No, I think he's 30 or 31.
I think he's
Yeah,
30.
30.
That's not
So I'd
bad.
re-sign Wyatt Teller.
So you got one. Go ahead.
Number 2, I would draft a left tackle with one of my 2 first-round picks. Assuming there's a guy worthy, there probably will be. I have to draft a left tackle in the first round.
Will we get it right? We talk about the quarterback position.
The only thing that gives me hope-
We got the line right.
The only thing that gives me hope.
We ain't got the line right.
No, but looks like he did a very nice job with the first 4 picks in this year's draft. That's the only thing that gives me hope. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Nothing is. That's what I do.
We ain't got the line right. We ain't got one person on the line
That he's drafted?
outside of Dawand.
Well, but I can't count on Dawand. So that's it. So that's 2 spots, right?
Dang, man.
So I got a left tackle, first round pick, right guard, Wyatt Teller. Now, I am now gonna go to the free agent market. Whoever the best offensive lineman is available, whether it's a left guard, a center, or a right tackle.
You don't need a center. You got one.
In my mind, we don't. So whoever the best free agent offensive lineman is. These are free agents now, not these guys. I mean, at the end of the season, these guys are all terrible.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, I take the best, and then I fill that hole.
Okay.
And so that's 3 spots, hopefully.
Okay.
And then
What about Tevin Jenkins?
They haven't even used him.
Isn't that
He's a
wild?
free agent
Is he
also.
a tackle or a guard?
I thought he's
guard
played
for
both.
us, right?
I think. I don't know, but and so whoever the best free agent is, that's 3 spots, and then the other 2 spots, I have to hope that I can get somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round, or Zinter, or whatever, or your boy Whippler.
Well, you should pencil. He's in.
But I'm not saying this is going to make you feel great, but I think you got to re-sign Wyatt Teller because you got to have one short thing at least as a building block for that offensive line, and then you get one other veteran, and the other 3 guys got to be young guys, and you got to get it right. It's big ifs, I get it, but what
A lot
other
of
choice do you have? What? It's not like there's an easier solution than this. I mean, what else can you do?
Dustin, that don't give you much confidence.
Me? No.
Or you could trade for one.
I don't think the Browns should draft a single defensive player next year. They should go quarterback, tackle in the first round, take a wide receiver in the second round, take another offensive lineman in the third round, and maybe another offensive lineman in the fourth round.
You just got to pray that they can find somebody in the
might have to get a
in
corner.
like middle of the draft, like a middle round guy that's going to be a starter, for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the Browns just haven't been able to find the talent at receiver or at line in the draft.
No.
So
Now, they haven't drafted anywhere above a third-round pick except for Zinter at either of those positions.
Jed Wills.
Jed Wills.
Oh, yeah. He sucked. Yeah, all right. Bad job out of me.
Yeah. Top. Woo.
I was trying to forget about that one.
Yeah. That we're in the position right now because of that.
Yeah.
We here because of
They're
Jed.
supposed to have Tristan Wirfs. Right
Yeah,
now.
the all-time, the multiple Pro Bowler, right?
yeah.
The guy that is covering Baker, right? This is wild work. Here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna say.
They making up for it. Like they've learned. Like this past, it start with this draft. Like
Here's what I'm not gonna.
they
do.
got to build on this momentum.
I'm not going. People might be mad at me. Under no circumstances am I willing to say, given what I've seen in this quarterback class, that I am drafting a quarterback in the first round.
Listen, it's
Whoa,
early,
whoa,
though.
whoa, whoa,
It's
whoa.
early.
Lenore Sellers would be
hold
fine.
Hold on now. Hold on. What I'm going to say to you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you could really say. You know what? This is the conundrum, right?
Go ahead.
You can't have it both ways.
Okay.
You can't play Joe and get 0 from Joe and still keep playing him. When you can actually, I would be willing to say, hey, let's draft the quarterback. You know how we could do that? Play these dudes, and I can find out if they good or not.
Well, that's inevitable. They're gonna play.
I ain't talking about inevitable. I'm talking about.
I want it
I'm
right
talking about
now,
quickly.
too.
To me, be honest with you, if we can't put no points up this Sunday, first of all, we're gonna get boat race. That's second. First off, secondly, I'm making the switch by halftime. This is ridiculous.
Dustin, we talked earlier on the podcast. You don't think it's time to make a change? Do you think Tyvus is right? It could happen after this week or in this game.
I guess it depends how he plays in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a much worse defense than the Packers. I think he threw for 140-something yards with an average of like 3.9 yards per attempt.
Crazy low.
Check down Charlie.
Or per completion. No, it wasn't good enough. I know that. If it's like that again, yeah, we'll have a conversation. But I'm not willing to do it after one game against what I think is one of the better defenses in the entire league, one of the better pass rushes, against an offensive line who lost a starter in this game, and the line wasn't that good to begin with. Our quarterback's a statue. I'm making a million excuses. I know that.
Yeah.
But the point is, I said the same thing with the kicker. Like I didn't want to cut him. I wanted to give him another opportunity. Same with Flacco. He's earned the opportunity. And if the kid was ready, if Dylan Gabriel was ready to play, he'd be in there right now.
Yeah.
You know how you get ready?
Play.
Yeah, but Tyvus, you know this, man, and we didn't play quarterback. You need more time to watch and really get yourself in the position to be thrown to the Wolves like that. Do you imagine how bad would Dylan Gabriel played on Sunday?
They threw him to the Wolves on Baltimore.
I don't know that he could have played any worse, but he probably would
Okay,
have
let's
played
say he plays the same. What's that do for his confidence?
As I always say, if a guy is going to lose his confidence based on one poor game, then he was never going to make it as a quarterback.
Dude, maybe so, man.
Yeah.
But the guy is not a top pick.
No.
So
but that's why I don't worry about it. If he craps the bed because of its OB.
But he's a third-round pick. So
Yeah.
I just think you got to be careful with the guy. And I hate to say it, I sort of
Yeah.
trust the Browns are going to put him in there when he's ready to go.
So if let's say Joe's terrible in this game, and they decide, okay, next week they're going to England, but they're playing the Vikings, although the Vikings just kicked the crap out of the Bengals. Their defense played well in that game. The Vikings had, I think, 2 defensive touchdowns.
Man, listen, I keep saying they're not going to fight the rebels somewhere in the dark continent, bro. These dudes, they're not going to the Middle East to fight in Afghanistan or something, bro. They're going to London to play a football game. We got to stop acting like these dudes is. Dylan Gabriel then played more games than anybody in the history of college football.
Is that true?
At quarterback.
Really?
Yeah, he played. I mean,
I guess guys play like 6 years now.
He started six years, dude.
Oh, man.
Like you,
crazy.
3 different programs.
Yeah.
You think
UCF, Oklahoma, and Oregon.
so? It's not like he's gonna go melt out there, bro. Like it's not. And by the way, we gonna say this year, but Tyvus, I guarantee when you draft a quarterback in the first round, they gonna have none of these excuses. They gonna be right out there playing, ain't they?
Patrick Mahomes.
There
and
you
Jordan
go,
Love
right out there playing.
Did not play right away. But
I'm just
everybody-
saying.
Because both those teams had quarterbacks.
Well, we ain't got no quarterback, so they playing.
By the way,
They
by,
play.
by the way, the one guy that I like is Nussmeier.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Has he
I
been,
mean-
has he been any good so far?
He's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
They're undefeated. They're top. They're
I think
number
that-
3 in the
I think
country.
their offense is a little shaky.
I think he's a little shaky.
You think he's shaky?
The knock on him was that he was tied for first place with interceptions thrown in the SEC last year.
Yeah.
Threw like 26 touchdowns.
All I know
13
is
picks, 12 or 13 picks.
at this time, what was it, 7 years ago, nobody was talking about Josh Allen, right?
Nobody.
And nobody was
I-
no,
N-
and people were talking about
Nussmeier-
Lamar because he's
dude.
been great, but people weren't talking about him as a top pick, and he went 32nd.
Nussmeier like reminds me of like not like Josh Allen because he's not as athletic, but I mean like just kind of like size.
you want a
He got the
Josh
big.
Allen,
He got the
Lenore
big.
Silva.
He's got the big arm. I don't know, man. I did an LSU game last year. I
Yeah.
did one of his games. It was against Nicholls State. So it wasn't like a tough opponent, but we got a chance to dive in and like learn about his game. And I think he's a big kid with a big arm, and he's smart. And he came back for another year. Like I do think. I mean, Cade Klubnik's, you can't draft him right now.
No,
You can't touch him.
He's done.
Right.
Like
And-
you just can't touch him.
Is Nussmeier only 6'1"?
I think he's like 6'2.5".
How big is Sellers?
Big.
I think he's 6'3", maybe.
What's he battling injury wise right now? Has he got an ankle or
Rib.
something?
I think it was like a rib. He got
Is there some guy kind of further off the radar that's making a name for himself?
This
Fernando Mendoza
This dude
from
from
Indiana.
Indiana, he didn't do for like 5 touchdowns the last 2 games.
From Indiana?
Sellers is 6'3", 240.
Indiana's got a nice offense right now.
What year is this? What's his name? Mendoza?
Fernando Mendoza.
He's a senior. He transferred
Yeah.
in.
You want to know his measurables?
Yeah.
He is 6'5", 225.
Big,
Like
he's big.
that size.
We'll see him soon.
Yeah, yeah.
We gonna see.
Yeah.